So let's talk about the future. What are the main changes we will see in the next 7 years?
Well, by 2020, computer chips will gradually approach a few pennies in cost. Computer power will be almost for free. They'll be everywhere. For example, your car. Your car will drive itself around 2020. We have already created driverless cars, and we're going to market them, and they'll be in your garage in around 2020. Your television set will have 3D without glasses. Without glasses, you'll have all the benefits of 3 dimensions. We'll also be able to grow human organs. If your liver, if your kidney begins to wear out, we will grow heart and liver and kidney tissue in the laboratory from your own cells so they don't give out. And your contact lens will have the internet in it. When you blink, you will see people's biography next to their image, and if they speak to you in Chinese, you'll see translations underneath their image in your contact lens.
And what about the advertising industry?
It'll be even bigger. We're going to be hyper-connected in the future. So some people say, well, why advertise, right? It's the other way around. We're going to be deluged by noise, so much noise, and we want to have a connection, a personal connection to a product. So even though we're hyper-connected, we will still gravitate toward tigers and lions and lizards and logos and branding because they make things familiar to us.
And do you think branding will be more important than now?
Even more important than now, because your product has to stand out among a galaxy of other products. In people's contact lens, they will know exactly who has the best product, who has the cheapest product. And maybe your product is not the best. Maybe it's not the cheapest, but people feel comfortable. They feel comfortable with your product. They have a connection with you. And that's why it's so important to have even more branding than today.
And in your opinion, what advertising agency have to do?
They have to ride the tidal wave like a surfer. You have to realize that technology comes and goes, and if you miss the tidal wave, you will go bankrupt. For example, let's say you advertise in newspapers a lot, but newspapers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller because people are gravitating toward the web. And so you have to know where people are going. You have to know where the next tidal wave is. And if the tidal wave goes without you, you will go bankrupt.
In the past, someone predicted that paper will not exist in the future, but you don't agree with this. Why and how do you imagine the newspaper in the future?
Many predictions never came true because they went against the grain of human nature. We are intelligent apes. 100,000 years ago, we came out of Africa. Our hunter-gatherer thinking hasn't changed. Hunters want proof of the kill. They don't want simply to brag about a deer that they almost killed. They need proof. Same thing with paper. Paper is proof that you did it. Electrons, we don't trust. When you hit the off button, the electrons disappear. We don't trust that. That's why we have more paper today than before, because we need proof that we did the work. Some people say, what about technology of the past? For example, live theater. Will radio replace live theater? No. Will movies replace radio? No. Will the internet replace movies, replace radio, replace live theater? No. We coexist with previous technologies. We have more horses today than in 1800. More horses today, not less, because these horses are used for recreational purposes. Therefore, in the future, we will have newspapers, but the ratio between newspapers and the web will change, and that's where you make money. You can make a lot of money predicting the ratio between newspapers and media or any technologies of the past. That will change, but we will still have horses, we'll still have live theater, and we will still have newspapers in the future.
If we look at the past, we see that every big revolution has caused also a big crash. We had one in 1929, one in 2008. And what about next?
We cannot legislate human nature. Human nature is to be greedy, to be part of a bubble. 1850 was the first big bubble because people speculated in railroad stock. 1929 because people speculated on automobiles and utility stock. 2008 because they speculated on high technology. We will have another bubble, perhaps that big, separated by 80 years, meaning that perhaps by the year 2090, we could have another crash. And so remember that capitalism is going to become more perfect in the future because the supply and demand are going to be more and more perfect. But human nature, you cannot change. And human nature will be greedy, and we will have bubbles.